When your heart's on fire, you must realize smoke gets in your eyes. That was really the story yesterday, wasn't it? Welcome to the show. A little Defo on 5 here to warm things up on this fine Thursday. And good to be with you, Jeff DeForest. And we will unleash a very bitter and a very disturbed Mike Lubitz in just a few minutes because smoke gets in the eyes of just about everybody on the eastern seaboard right now. They are under like a Trumpian like orange watch. It's incredible. Events were canceled. Yankee game canceled because of too much smoke in the area. Plays were canceled. Indoor events were canceled. It's such ugliness, my friend. All of this schmutz coming in from Canada and blowing right over the East Coast. I guess it's going to be really bad all the way down to like Washington, D.C. today. So be careful there. And the song is appropriate because something had to get in the eyes. What was it? Some green schmutz from Calvin Sullivan when he became like an evil sorcerer in professional wrestling and he had that silly string he used to spray in your face? What happened there? The shooting of the Miami Heat was abysmal last night, as was their rebounding. And if you combine those two stats, rebounding and shooting statistics, and you look at the negativity there, Heat out rebounded by 25 in a game. Shot from the field 34 of 92. You don't have to be a mathematical genius studying calculus to realize that's somewhere around 35% for the game. And 3-point shooting wasn't any better than that, 11 of 35, which by 3-point shooting standards, even though that would normally be associated with like a brick like performance, still around 33% on 3-point shooting, it isn't horrendous. It's not enough to defeat you. And Denver was worse, actually shooting only 5 of 18 in the ball game from 3-point range, but it was of little significance. As if you want to go with the Missoula factor, how many quarters did you win? After a dead heat in the first quarter, Denver wins the second quarter, they win the third quarter, and they win the fourth quarter. And guess what? He who win 3 quarters after a dead even first quarter, win game as well. Denver 109, Miami 94. Whole conversation. I love this. I mean, this is why every game in the postseason is pivotal because the whole conversation has changed again to, well, you know what? Denver's just a much better team. I don't know if the Heat have enough firepower to compete with these guys. And before I get into any further analysis, which I don't know that it's really overwhelmingly necessary, we all saw what happened out there. The Heat, unfortunately, just really didn't have it last night. They need magic coming from a variety of sources. They did get a decent game, by any standard out of Jimmy Butler, 11 of 24, 28 points, only had a couple of rebounds. Bam Adebayo had 22 points, but he was only on 7 of 21 shooting. He did grab 17 boards in the game as the only guy that was a factor on the glass for the Miami Heat. But that paled in comparison to the 2 stars for the Denver Nuggets, where Nikola Jokic, a triple-double, 32, 21, and 10. So you should have bet that plus 120. Could have made yourself $120 just for putting up a stick last night on the Jokic triple-double, which almost seems an automatic. And then Jamal Murray was back on his game and a much bigger factor in this one than he was in game 2 when they lost. Murray, 34 points in the end. He was out there with like no time left also. They never took him out of the game. 10 rebounds and 10 assists. And Lubie, your spin on this game is entirely different than mine. I think if you just simply look at the math in this thing, it's not hard to conclude that Denver was a better team out there last night. You, however, are pointing a finger directly at the big klutz, the Quasimodo and Converse All-Stars, Nikola Jokic, and saying he's not all that. He's a flopping stiff. So I will give you the floor here for the next couple of minutes to do your Pesci tirade on Jokic.
No, it's fine. I mean, look, the Nuggets played better. He played worse. The Nuggets got after it, and the Heat in the second half were abysmal. Their defense went back to being undisciplined. They were doing the thing where they're doubling guys for no friggin' reason, allowing easy baskets. They played with the funny thing is the one thing they did well was defend the 3-point line. So you would think, okay, at least if they do that, they have a good chance against the Nuggets. The problem is in the paint, they allowed like 60 points. Like their interior defense was an abomination. And on offense, they went back to being lazy. Like where they strive, especially against this Nuggets defense, is making that third pass. Move the ball, move without the ball. You will get good shots. The problem is that second half, and they've done this a lot in stretches in the playoffs where they'll settle for the first or second shot. And it's like, yeah, teams are going to give you that. If you're shooting an out of rhythm defended jumper, teams are going to be, even if you make 1 of 7, they're going to be happy giving you that. Whoever it was, whether it was Martin or Vincent or Lowry or Strus or Butler or Bam, they were taking shots that are not their strengths. And Butler, And what's funny is he had 28 points, but if you watch the game, he was horrendous. Like, I think he piled on like 10 points in the fourth when the game was over. Like,
He came on late to improve his shooting stats. Before
yeah,
that, he was like 6 for 16.
he
He
was,
was, not terrible, but he just wasn't the kind of force that you would have needed to combat what you were getting from Jokic and Murray.
he missed like 6 layups, like easy layups when the game was tight that would have kept the game close. And he wasn't close on them. And then fine, at least facilitate. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't engaged. He wasn't involved again. His defense on Murray was great in game 2. His defense last night on Murray was horrendous, where they literally took him off of Murray because he wasn't even defending the guy. He was just on the screens. He was going under. It was like, I know he's hurt. It's clear, but damn, like this is the finals, man. Like you're out there. From what he said, I'm going to play. Then play. Like he was not good. Murray and Jokic are there. Even Murray's bad game was a double-double with 18 points. Like Butler, he can't afford to have Butler play like that and win. Like, and that's the shooting thing is not the thing to me because again, you can't count on their shooters to shoot 50 fucking percent. The one thing you're supposed to be able to count on is your best player playing big in big moments. And Butler has not been it since the Knicks series, and it's just clear. And Bam was aggressive, and he was good early. But man, was he horrendous in the second.
7 of 21 is brutal, actually, for the shots he was getting.
Yeah, he was getting good shots. He was the one guy
getting like 10-foot wide open jumpers. You're saying, hey, why don't you just throw McAdoo out there, take him out of the suit, and instead of Haslam coming in for token seconds at the end of the game, throw Bobby Mack out there. He can make those shots all day long. And Adebayo had been good. It's funny because the stat line doesn't look terrible, except for the 7 for 21. He did grab 17 boards. I just think this, Lubie, when you look at it overall, and people were saying, and you've been refuting these theories all during the postseason, which, for the most part, I guess you've been right, especially in that Boston series, that there's no overwhelming difference between the two teams. And I don't know if there is here, except the Heat need all of their guys, these so-called unheralded, undrafted, unwanted players. They need almost all of those guys to make a contribution and a meaningful one. If they're going to shoot 3 shots, they need to make a couple of them. If they're going to be hoisting threes up there, they have to be at key points in the game when other teams are making a run. They need to do something to stop them. They weren't able to do that. I'm talking about the whole collective there behind Adebayo, Strus, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Lowry, Kevin Love, Caleb Martin, and Vincent.
Yeah.
They have to have at least 3 of those guys step forward, as they say, and make something happen. And none of them really stood out in the game last night.
Now, Martin,
they would hit a 3-point shot and then miss their next 3 attempts, each one of them individually. And it wasn't enough. Denver was able to just kind of slowly, work their way through and build up a big lead. They got it up to 21. It got down to 10. But never seemed to be completely threatened in the fourth quarter. All of those brilliant fourth quarter comebacks by the Heat, they've been great at it through the whole postseason. 7 times they've come back from double-digit deficits to win in the postseason, which I don't know if that's that uncommon in the NBA, but certainly is, in the NBA Finals to be coming back from these huge deficits. And they weren't able to overcome it last night because they just didn't have everybody on. So, all right, where does that leave us, Lubie? 2-1 now Denver. I thought the Heat needed to win both of these games at home to win the series. I really believe that in my heart of hearts. I don't know that they win the series from here because they now have to at least win another game in Denver. And absolutely, what are we looking at? A pivotal game 4 there on Friday night, Libby?
On Friday, I don't know.
Pivotal.
Into the thing, they won in Denver and they played well for almost a half. And I mean, I'm not worried about that. You can't wait. Like you got to.
You're mumbling. Do they win the series?
You can't play like that. No, I wasn't mumbling. I was just thinking out loud. You can't play like that. Like they're not going to win a series if their best players aren't leading. Like that's the one thing about the Nuggets is they don't worry about their cast. Their cast is sort of the Christian Brown guy. Like you're not getting that from him again. He sucks. Like it's them. Those 2 guys come to play every goddamn game. Even the game that Murray was he still had 18 and. Butler's not himself, and Bam only can do it so much, and that's the problem for the Heat, and that's going to be the struggle is Vincent Martin Struess or Vincent Martin Struess. I have not changed that. I hate the term undrafted because they're real players, but you can't expect 20. They contribute in their own way every game, but they're not going to get you 25 every game. Like and we've talked about this. Like they can't be your leaders. They have to be role players. Like you get from a Brown once in a while or the weirdo spelled Brown. But the Nuggets don't count on that. The Nuggets don't even count on Gordon, who is an all-star caliber player. They count on those two guys to lead the charge, and they do every single damn game. Like the
Well,
hero
were we
will never just
mispronouncing Ava Braun, woman
no.
that was with Adolf
That's how you
Hitler's
spell it.
name wrong for
No.
the last 100 years?
This guy's fucking.
Braun. When did that become Brown, my friend?
It's not.
Yeah.
His
But
family.
anyway, that kid was good, man. He added a spark. He came in and he hustled. He made things happen in the floor game. He was all over the place. Spoelstra referenced that about loose balls and, those 50-50 plays. The Heat normally very proficient at that, very, very good all the way through the postseason. They've been winning based on hustle, and they didn't have it in this game last night. All right, so 2-1, where does that leave us? A must win for game number 4, I
Oh,
believe.
yeah.
We're talking MW, must win.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have to say it's Kaputski, series over.
Yeah, I would think they would lose in 5. Like
Everything hinges on this pivotal game 4.
But
All right, a couple other things we have to get to here, Lubie, and we'll get more into that on the Defo show, the Heat game, obviously. Messi signing with Inter Miami Football Club.
He hasn't signed. He announced.
Well, he's about to. I mean, I guess that's imminent. I don't think
You
they would have
never
gone
know.
through all of this hullabaloo if it was, end up going to be a stiff and he's going to play somewhere in Europe next year. All right, this is not unprecedented. We've seen, and this goes all the way back to the NASL, right? Where an aging European soccer star. I don't know that Messi is finished yet at 35. Certainly, he's still scoring goals at a very high rate. He just won the World Cup with Argentina. He was a big factor there. Although, how many penalty kicks did they give to Messi? Talk about a flopper. I don't know. Was he flopping for those penalty kicks? But it seemed like every time you turn around in the World Cup, there's Messi, facing, the goalie, and the goalie has no chance, right? All you have to do on those penalty kicks is go, your mother. And the guy goes diving out of the way, and next thing you have a goal. But he was dynamic. He was a big force in the World Cup, so it didn't give any evidence that he's El Finito. We've seen David Beckham come to the MLS, and I mean, going way back, I remember when the Fort Lauderdale Strikers signed George Best,
Yep.
but he was finished at that point. Our good friend Ray Hudson, who Jim Sarney tried to get to come on a show. Unfortunately, he does a show simultaneously with our 7 to 9 live show in the morning on South Florida Live here. Well, this is 5 Reasons, but when we're on South Florida Live, 7 to 9, we tried to get Ray Hudson to come on. He said that this is the biggest, now, naturally, he's a little biased towards soccer, the biggest sports acquisition in the history of South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Messi coming to Miami, Inter Miami FC, a team that's floundering in last place, floundering, and also had just fired its coach. That guy Neville. They just got rid of the guy. Pathetic so far this year, and Messi now turns it around, spiking ticket sales, the value of tickets, and he can't play until after July 5th apparently. But when is the MLS season? What is the span of the MLS season? Do you know?
Oh, no idea. Like that's what's great about the story is
Nobody knows anything about the league. Yeah.
we joke that we all become hockey experts when the Panthers figure out how to play. But the reality is we at least have watched hockey in our lives.
Yeah.
I have never watched MLS. I'm not talking about soccer. I could bullshit about the World Cup, but this league, I've never watched a minute. I've never watched 1 minute of MLS action, never. So I have literally zero clue. And that's why this is the biggest acquisition.
Is this like LeBron going to the G League?
Yes, because when we got LeBron, at least the Heat had a title at that point. The Heat were in the same league, literal league, as the other teams LeBron played for. The MLS isn't even top 5 in leagues. It may be better than it used to be. Some people are telling me it's not as bad as it was. Okay, it's not top 5 in leagues. Not that this is not one of the top 5 teams. This league as a whole is not even comparable to any of the leagues that Messi has played in or would play in. It's not comparable.
Yeah.
So him coming down to just this league, then not only that, what you just said, he's playing for one of the worst teams in that league that is horrendous compared to other leagues. It doesn't compare. It's like LeBron going to like Israel. Like it's literally
LeBron playing in Istanbul, right, with some team in Turkey.
That's what this is.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where it used to be this way. I don't know if it's the same. Where some has-been major leaguer guy that was beyond the twilight of his career would go to Japan and then hit 350, like Warren Cromartie, right? Goes to Japan. He's already finished. They're a good ball player, but all of a sudden you become a star and you last there another 12 years. I guess that would be the equivalent of Messi coming to the MLS, but that's a big story. Cats in Vegas tonight. What do you think, Lubie? Real quick, Cats in Vegas.
Better win.
Does
Better win.
Florida turn it around here and win this game? You say yes?
Yes, yeah, they have to. I mean, I can say they won't, but it doesn't matter what I say.
All
They
right.
have to
You,
win
you, you were very much on the Heat bandwagon last night,
They have to.
so I
And
went against you just on general principle, and of course, turned out to be right. Marlins, wow. I mean, we can't ignore this story anymore, can we? It's going to be hard to transition into it because the pace of baseball, even when your team is playing exciting, winning baseball,
yeah, boring.
pedantically slow. I mean, just pathetically slow compared to what we've been watching with the explosivity of these playoffs in hockey and in basketball. Louis Rise, again, 403 now. 2 for 4 in the game last night. They beat the Royals 6-1 and move on tomorrow. Now they go on the road. They face the Chicago White Sox, who have a lousy record also. The Marlins 35-28, 3 back of Atlanta in the National League East. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
When was the last time? I can't imagine. When was the last time this team was ever 7 games over 500? I mean, does it go back to like 2003? Yeah. When was the last time they had a winning record like this?
Like, because even that year that they made the playoffs, that was, I think, their final record was like 35-28.
It was nothing. Yeah, they only played the 60 games. Yeah,
it was like 32-25 or something like that. Like they were finally at a number like that.
Unbelievable, man. Rolling. And winners now of what? Is that 6 in a row? I believe it is. 4 relievers give up only 1 hit after Cabrera had gone 5 innings of 2 hit balls. So good ball game there. Rest in peace, the Iron Sheik, one of my favorite wrestling characters. The Iron Sheik checked out. And I do have to also bid condolences to the friends and family. And I got to be friendly with this guy on a kind of an acquaintance level, but still, I saw him many, many times. A gentleman named Jim Nestor, who at one time was the booking agent for our good friend Albert Castillo. And he had been battling health issues for some time. And it was kind of comical about it, the way that he referenced it whenever I'd ask him how he's doing. And he would explain to me the litany of things that were wrong and then say, yeah, but other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? That kind of thing. He passed away, very unfortunate. French Open, too, very exciting, although Coco Gauff cannot handle Iga Swiatek. I believe she's now played her 7 times, lost all 7 times in straight sets, including the quarterfinals yesterday. So Swiatek is going to go against the Brazilian Haddad Maia. And my girl Sabalenka from Miami goes against a young lady named Mukova, who also has been playing very well. That's the semifinals on the women's side. We got the big one coming up tomorrow, though, on the men's side. This is going to be great. Semifinal matchup, the Joker and Alcaraz, Louis. And some would say that's the real championship right there. That's the finale. Although there'll be somebody waiting in the wings between Casper Ruud and Zverev, who's a great story, because it was last year at the French Open. He's in the final against Nadal. He's given it everything he has. I mean, he's given Nadal trouble as he's going for like his 14th French Open title. Nadal was. And Zverev, remember, a hideous ankle injury. And he's come back from that and now is going to be facing Casper Ruud with a big chance to win in the semifinals. All right, we have to run. That's it for Defo on 5. Heat go down. And we will see you on the Defo Show in South Florida Live for Mike Lubie Lubitz, a very bitter Mike Lubie Lubitz, but sort of coming around and coming to terms with what happened last night. Must win for the Heat in game number 4, Heat Nation. I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time on Defo on 5.